You ever get that feeling that you're living two different lives? You've got the one online, right, where everything is perfectly curated, totally under control. And then there's the other one, the real world, which is messy, unpredictable, and kind of chaotic. Well, today we're diving deep into that exact conflict through the story of a teenager named Evan. His journey really shows us what happens when our perfect digital worlds smack right into the lives we actually have to live. Let's get into it.
So for Evan, everything changes with this one single realization. He starts to see something that was hidden in plain sight the whole time, that behind every perfect social media post, behind every confident smile, pretty much everyone is fighting some kind of invisible internal battle. And you know what? Once he sees it, he can't unsee it. And this isn't just some abstract thought for him, it becomes his actual reality. All of a sudden, the school hallways look completely different. He's not just seeing his classmates anymore, he's seeing the tension in their shoulders. The way their laughter sounds just a little bit brittle. He's sensing that cave beast, that big cloud of unresolved stuff that every single person is carrying around with them.
This new perception, this new way of seeing people, it sets the stage for this recurring conversation he has with his father. It's an argument that's been echoing through a lot of their recent talks, and it challenges Evan's entire worldview. And it all centers on this one, really provocative word: cheating.
Okay, so here's Evan's side of it. He's arguing that the digital world is the perfect fix for how messy people can be. I mean, why would you deal with real, unpredictable, sometimes even offensive people when you can just build a perfect social life online? It's a really powerful argument for being in complete control. But his father just cuts right through that whole argument with this one simple, sharp question. And it's not an attack, it's a real question that just hangs in the air between them. And this question, it becomes the central challenge that Evan has to face. If you avoid all the hard parts of being human, how do you ever learn to actually be one?
So what's so great about Evan's digital world? Well, it's the promise of total control. I mean, just imagine it. You can literally program your perfect friend with AI. You can reinvent yourself to be whatever's popular this week. You can pick and choose your friends from millions of options. And if you don't like someone, poof, gone. It's a social life with zero friction and absolutely zero risk. But here's the thing. As this conversation with his dad goes on, Evan starts to realize that this digital freedom, it isn't actually free. There's a hidden cost to living in a fantasy, and he's really starting to feel the weight of it. This right here, this is the exact moment the fantasy starts to crack. As he's defending this digital life he's built, Evan feels that hidden cost, in his own words. It's not just an argument with his dad anymore. It's a conflict happening inside his own head. He's starting to see that his perfect world might just be a beautiful prison.
So this is the crucial part, this trade-off. On one hand, yeah, the digital world promises all this great stuff, freedom, power, safety, but then you got to look at the cost. If you can just project any image you want, there's no real reason to become a genuinely good, likable person. If no one ever sees the real you, then things like self-mastery become, well, unnecessary. The promise of that perfect digital life ends up eating away at the need for any real-world growth.
And just like that, the challenge from his father echoes back again. But this time, it lands differently. Totally different. Evan doesn't have a quick, defensive answer anymore. Instead, this new sense of curiosity starts stirring inside him. He's no longer hearing an accusation. He's hearing a genuine puzzle that maybe, just maybe, he needs to solve.
And that growing curiosity, it leads Evan to a major internal breakthrough. He starts to completely dismantle the very definition of success that he's built his entire life around.
It all starts with this quiet, simple thought. You know, those goals he used to just recite, the ones he thought every teenager was supposed to be chasing? Suddenly, they don't feel like his own anymore. Something fundamental is shifting deep inside him.
The first pillar to go? Popularity. That constant chase for likes, followers, digital fame. He finally sees it's just an endless treadmill. The validation, it lasts for a second, and it's all starting to feel incredibly hollow. And next, the pillar of power comes crashing down. The ability to buy things, to cruise through his tests, to control his online world. He sees now that it's all a superficial kind of strength. It's nothing like the real, inner strength that he's starting to realize he actually craves.
And finally, the last pillar, pleasure. That simple goal of just satisfying every desire, chasing every short-term high, he recognizes it for the empty game it really is. And so he's standing there in the rubble of his old beliefs, and his entire idea of a successful life has been totally dismantled. So, what comes next? What replaces all that? Well, out of the ashes of his old goals, 3 new, really powerful aspirations start to emerge. First, clarity, the ability to see himself and the world honestly. Second, connection, to build real relationships with real people. And third, a deeper kind of freedom, one that's internal and strong, the kind that stays with you even after the screen goes dark.
And really, this is the ultimate takeaway from Evan's journey. His transformation isn't about him just accepting a lecture from his dad. It's about him realizing that life's biggest challenges, like learning to relate to the real world, they aren't problems to be avoided. They're actually part of the curriculum, a kind of soul school that he has to navigate and solve for himself.
And that brings us right back to the beginning. Evan started this whole thing by seeing the invisible battles in other people, and he ended up having to face his own. So it kind of leaves us with a question to think about. What's the invisible battle you're fighting, and what kind of freedom are you truly searching for?